All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our next exciting program right now. This is Kevin Alex Ben. So, guys, I want to tell you about what about to happen tonight. Tonight, guys. Now, what is happening right now? We have a very interesting person on the program tonight. We have a fantastic person. And this person right now is no other than my guest speaker tonight. It's going to be Jody-Marie. Now, this person is an entrepreneur that is doing tremendous things in the society. And I want to point it out that tonight is a night where you're going to hear from her and know who this individual is. This individual, I might point it out, that doing tremendous amount of work in the society and building her community and the people around her. Now, before I even get into the program, welcome once again. I am Kevin Alex Beck, and tonight is my host, Jody-Marie. Right? So, when I get into the program, I want to tell you guys how the program works, right? So, who joining in for the first time, you don't know, this is how it works. Now, with Virtual Trade Talk Show, we have the program running right throughout, and we ask 13 questions in particularly for persons who don't know about us, don't know how the show works, but they want an idea. They want to know how it works. So what? We want you guys out there to jump in on the program. I want you guys to understand on the program what is happening. So these questions are going to ask. We're going to ask 13 questions to our guest speaker here. And then these questions are designed for you out there, the public, to get an understanding, to get an idea of who this businesswoman is, this entrepreneur is, and who is this person that we're talking about this week that is making so much change in the society. Now, after she answered all these 13 questions, she will have between 15 to 20 minutes to tell you guys more about herself, her business, and to share anything in particularly about herself and her business to you, the audience. Now, then after we finish that, we're going to do a segment where I tell you guys about Earthwell Trade Limited, Earthwell Trade Academy, and I will tell you some more why did I start Earthwell Trade Entrepreneur Talk Show. Then after, if you have any questions and so on, you can drop them into the comment right here, and we would love to answer it. Afterwards, she will be answering any question that you might have, or you want to reach out to her, she can give her contact and wrap up the show. So let's get the show on the road, shall we? Now, we're going to start by just asking you 13 particular questions. Now, before the show, normally what we do is that before you come on the show, we give the person that is coming onto the show, the speaker, the guest speaker, these questions so they would have an idea of what we're talking about beforehand. So here goes. Here comes the 13 questions. Number one. Now, how are you feeling tonight before I start with the first question? How do you feel tonight? And welcome again.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. You've been doing great things yourself, and I feel privileged and humbled that you would ask me to come on and share my story.
Well, you're most welcome. But I want to ask you a question. I will jump right into the question. Thank you so much for that. You're doing tremendously yourself as well, I might say, and that is why you're on the program. Every week we bring on a new entrepreneur on the program that is making a difference in the society and helping their fellow men. Now, the first question is, what is your name? What is your full name and what is your business name?
All right. So I'm Jody-Marie Beharie. And the name of my organization is A Gentle Touch of Care, Home Health Services and Training Institute. That is our current name in transition.
In transition.
I can't do the launch yet, Alex.
You soon will be able to do the launch very, very soon. But the fact is, the matter is, that's the name, and welcome to the program. Now, for the audience that will listen up, I want them to know some more about you. I want you to share some of your experiences that you have as an entrepreneur. Tell us some about your experiences.
All right. So, I was never an entrepreneur. I never went to business school. I don't know. Apart from growing up in a family where my mother was an entrepreneur,
right,
and I learned how to do some shopkeeping,
right,
and probably helping to manage the family when my mother moved overseas. Yeah, that's just about it until I went.
Hold on. So you say your mother moved overseas. Be specific. Which overseas we talking about?
For a couple years, my mother worked overseas, and so I am the eldest of three, and you know
What's
how it is when the
what's the name
time.
of the country that she was at? You want
What's
to
the name
share
of it?
the country that she's at? She say she was overseas. Where?
Oh, my mother worked in the US for a short time, so she'd go and she'd do home care, which is exactly what I'll explain my business is about later on. And she did
Right.
that for a short while and then came back home.
Right.
But for the time that she was away, I helped manage some things with her business, her shop, and at the house, because Daddy used to give me the money and tell me say I have to figure out how to manage it. Um, so you learn from a young age. I was about 12, 13 when that happened, because it was most of
That
my
is,
years.
that is so impressive because I want to point on that not many parents right now is giving their kids, especially young ones, young teenagers, the responsibility of spending. So that right there is a good indication that your parents did so you could actually venture out into this field right here. Now,
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you our next question. And thank you so much for pointing that out that your parents let you start from an early age of taking on the responsibility around the house. I want to ask you this question. What made you start your own business?
Ah,
What made you start your own business?
that's an interesting story. All right, so my business is 3 years this year. We started
Mm-hmm.
officially in 2017. However, I started my entrepreneurial journey by myself from 2012. All right, so then
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you before I was working 4 jobs, and three jobs, and I discovered the niche market
Exactly.
for home care.
So the follow-up question is, it's because you have 4 jobs, that's why you started the company? You
No,
started the
no, what I'm saying is I
right.
identified the opportunity back
Right?
in 2012, but then
Mm-hmm.
life changed. And
Oh.
that's when I launched into doing this full time.
But what you say life change? What do you mean life change?
All
Change
right, let me give you an example. Let me give you the rundown of how the story go, right? All right.
right.
So, I've been a nurse. I'm a nurse for
Mm-hmm.
15, going 16 years. Oh my God, I feel old. All right. So, I've been a nurse
Yeah,
since
not.
2005. Did 3 years of nursing school, then got registered in 2005. So yes, it's 15 years of
Right.
practicing nursing. I was at University Hospital where I did 2 specialties. I'm an ICU certified and trained nurse and a nurse manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did a couple years at UWI, then left, came back to the country because I'm originally from Chilani. I'm a country girl, right? Came back to Chilani because I was married young,
Oh
got
wow. What age
separated.
you got married? If you don't mind me asking.
What was that?
What age you got married?
I got married at 23, which I think is too young for anybody, right?
Mm. It wasn't too young for you, though, but
So I got married at 23. Things
right,
started getting difficult just about when I started my management course.
right,
Probably about 2 years later. So I ended up getting separated. So I didn't want to be in that environment because it was too much for me. I was away from family. As I tell
right,
you, I'm originally from Trelawney, and
right,
Kingston was a lot. Kingston was always on the go. I worked
right,
long hours. There was, if you're going to the beach, you have to plan a beach trip. I wasn't used to that. I
right,
lived like 5 minutes away from the beach all my life.
right.
So one of the things for me was just peace of mind, and I wanted to move back to
So,
Trelawney.
so let me ask you this question. Where in Chilani you're from? Can you say you're near to the beach? So be a little bit
I'm in
specific.
Falmouth.
You're in Falmouth.
Yes,
That's
even though my office is literally across from the beach.
so
Like
you can say that you love the beach.
I can stay in my office and see the beach and feel the sea breeze.
Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
But I want
So
to ask the next question because I know you're gonna get to 20 minutes. You can expound on those thoughts right here and share it with the public. But I just want to run through these 13 questions. Now, guys, the
Oh,
reason
we
why.
didn't answer. We didn't answer how I ended up starting the business, right? So I was going to that. So what happened is after I left Kingston, I started working at a private hospital back in Montego Bay. Then I saw
Right,
the niche for home care, and I did that for about 2 years.
right.
But then I switched from nursing to pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
And I became a pharmaceutical rep. And in my second year of being a pharmaceutical rep, I got sick.
So which company used to work within the pharmaceutical business?
I used to work for HD Hopwood that was in its transition to Massey Distributions.
Ah, I
Right.
know
They're
them.
now Massey. Right.
Big company, man. Big company.
Yeah. So I was working with them, doing pretty well. I
Right,
was growing because that was new for me too. I was in nursing and I switched to pharmaceuticals. That was interesting, but I learned a lot. I
right.
learned how to sell. I had no clue, but I learned how to sell, right?
Can you
Um,
remember the first thing that you sold?
the first, I had a brand. There was a brand drug for the company that I specialized in, right? I wasn't a sales rep, I was a med rep. So I was always
Right,
detailing the drugs, right?
right,
And the products that I did at that time was Sanofi.
right. So
So I had like some
what
old
was your
drugs
job
like
description
Baralgin.
as of a med rep that time?
As a med rep, I think the most challenging thing for me as a med rep, honestly, was just waiting because you have to go to doctors' offices and wait. But
Right,
then I learned a lot of things in between that because I learned how not to wait.
right,
I figured out a strategy. Like they were telling me, okay, this doctor works, only sees rep on these days, and you can only go at this time. And there were
right.
all these other things from old med reps, and I'm like, I think I can figure out a way to make this work because I like to be efficient with time. And so I devised some secret ways. If you're a med rep out there and you want to know, you have to call me and I tell you some secret ways of how I got around to it and met my target. But
So you have
I
all those tips. You have all those tips written down somewhere there to be passing on.
Oh yes, and they worked very well too. But what I'm saying is that when I became the second year of being a midwife, I got sick. Like
Okay.
I literally blocked out while driving, which was dangerous. And
Right.
then I found out that I had brain injury. That
So hold on a second. Hold on a second. So you're doing all of these work. You're doing all of these work. And then in between all of these work now, and you're going back and forth, you found out that what? You're sick. And the sickness was no, you
I,
have a brain problem. Is that it?
yeah. Literally,
What,
my MRI looked like.
what was the diagnosis?
All right, so it was complex partial seizures, secondary to right hippocampal atrophy or sclerosis, right? What does that mean is that your brain, if you split it in two, has two little tiny things in there that looks almost like an exclamation mark on both
Right.
sides of your brain. Two of them, the right side of your brain mostly deals with things like short-term memory and emotions and things like that.
So how did
So
you get through to it? How did you overcome it?
that's an interesting story. Um, so what happened
Sum it
is
up for us, man. Sum it up. Tell us. How did
for
you
me,
come?
for me personally, it took the strength and the support of my family, mainly my mother.
Mm-hmm.
It took prayer. I prayed a lot. It took digging deep, and a reality check. A reality check on life. I had already had my first son, and
Right.
I was literally, I was fine. According to me, I
Right.
was fine one day, and the next day, I was doing MRIs, CT scans, doing EKGs, doing a whole bunch of stuff that I I was feeling fine. As according to me, I was feeling fine. This was just one blockout, which led to another blockout, and I'm like, I'm not having convulsive seizures
So
or anything.
were you
It's
studying
just
at
a
the time
blockout.
when this was happening? Question. Question.
No, I wasn't studying at that time, but I had a lot going on. So there was a lot of real life issues. So I was still going through my divorce, which was one of the
Right.
things.
Right.
I had switched jobs from what I was doing, 4 jobs at one point in time. I was teaching nursing. I was working in emergency room, so I'd work 12 hours in emergency room, leave emergency room, go teach, come. At one point in time, I was working on call for the marine lab,
What you say?
UWE Marine Lab in Discovery Bay. So they would
Hold
come.
on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to no other than Jody-Marie, one of the entrepreneurs that are doing significant work here in the society, and she's actually on our program tonight, an entrepreneurs talk show, very much live, very much uncensored, the real deal for you out there that want to start your own business, you want to move forward. We bring on entrepreneurs that are doing a job, doing the work, have the track record, have something going on for them. How did they reach there? We are on the program. This is live and direct. I am your host, Kevin Alex Bent, and we have Jody-Marie on the program. Now, Jody-Marie, I want to ask you a question. We're going to touch about this, and you can expound some more on that journey in your 20 minutes as you want to share to the public audience. But we're going to jump back to some of the 13 questions. I want to run through 13 questions and so we can run on with the program. Now, I want to ask you a question. This is the next question that comes here. What do you think about formal public schooling?
Ah.
2 sentences, you know. 2
Two
sentences.
sentences.
Yes, ma'am.
I
2
think
sentences answer.
I think it strongly needs restructuring because I think we're wasting a lot of time teaching a lot of things that don't need to be taught anymore. Needs to be revised, and we need to be able to equip our children from a young age with tools that are going to make them be able to survive in this society that is constantly changing.
So you're saying to the Minister of Education right now that formal schooling in the curriculum that is provided, you're saying that it needs to be adjusted, re-amended, and to go back to the drawing board. That's what you're saying as an entrepreneur, as a business owner.
For sure. For sure.
All right. Here comes the other question now. You can expound some more on that. I'm just asking the question to hear what your mindset is. The audience will be watching and to hear what are you thinking? How did she get there? What the question is all about. But I'm picking at your brain. Here comes the next question. Knowing what you know now, right? Knowing what you know now. Educational program or entrepreneurship programs, which one will you go for more? But based on the fact what you just said a while ago, I want to hear you say it though. But what would you run for more? Educational programs or entrepreneur programs? Some more.
Entrepreneurial programs, for sure.
Oh yes. And what type of program in terms of entrepreneur that you would think that would be more suited for the young generation coming forward? Which?
Art from a young age, which is what I am teaching my kids, is money management. I tell them not to be afraid of money. I tell them we need it every single day. Money is like a basic need. It's a part of, if you don't have money, you can't have food. If you don't have money, you can't have water. If you don't have money, you can't have shelter. And where we are now with the current pandemic, if we don't have money now, we don't have air to breathe.
Literally.
So literally, we need money for our basic needs.
And I want to point out that a Gentle Touch home care business, it is a medical facility that you actually go there, you can get treatment, and also your loved ones can be in a safe hand with person. So when she says a while ago that air, literally air, so you know that oxygen right now, a lot of persons are out of oxygen and they need that air to breathe, and money buys it, right? Now, I want to point that out. I just want to say that out there so person who listening can follow the gist of what you just said a while ago. Air, very important, and it's costly. Now, I want to ask you this question. This is the question. Do you have any regrets? Do you have any regrets?
Regrets about starting business?
Those in general, as you as an individual and you for the business, or you in particular, do you have any regrets?
I don't think I'm somebody who lives with regrets. I say to myself, there are some decisions I could have made better in my life, but I believe all of them
Like what?
Every single decision that I've made in my life has led to this point in my life. So I don't even know if I want to call it a regret,
Right.
but something that I have learned from, and it has built me to be the person that I am today. So to honestly say I have regrets to the point where I'm like, never ever want it to happen again. If I live my life over, I'm sure there's going to be another set of stuff that would come along that would probably not be the best thing that I would want in my mind, but then I probably wouldn't be the person I am today without them. So I don't want to say I have regrets.
And that is fantastic to be said, because a while ago I did you a curveball in the question a while ago to get you there, to put it out there. That's what the questions are designed for. Pick at your brain to see if I could actually get something out of you that the audience don't, want the audience to know. That is my job, to really interview and to get you thinking. So that's a good answer. I can appreciate that. Now I want to ask you this question. What would you want your future kids and generation to remember you for? What would you want your kids and your future generation, that means your grandkids, after you're gone, what would you want them to remember you for?
All right, let me tell you, this is twofold, right?
Yes, man. Take your time.
Twofold for me, because number one, I've learned the power of building generational wealth.
Right.
That's number one, because and I don't want my kids to feel so privileged that they think that they don't have to carry on what I started or what my parents have started, because I saw where my parents worked so that we had a better life. Right? And it was always my intention that when I have kids, that I create a better life than my parents created for me.
Right.
And I want my kids to create a better life for their kids. And better life does not necessarily mean things.
Right.
It means knowledge and experience and everything that life has to offer that you would want to give to your generation, to another generation, to carry on not just generational wealth in money, but in knowledge and experience and in heart. So the second part to that is the heart of it. I told somebody this: as much as I've become an entrepreneur and I understand the power of money, if I had a way of doing what I'm doing now without being paid, I think I'd still be doing it.
Wow. And then the question I was about to ask you was that you love what you're doing currently, and you just answered it. Even if you were free, you would be doing it.
I'll wake up every day and I'd want to help people. I know we have not gotten into the details of what we actually do yet, but if I could get up every day and still help to make a difference, or biggest slogan here at A Gentle Touch of Care, I was just about to say our new slogan.
Right.
Here at A Gentle Touch of Care is literally improving health and quality of life. And the quality of life that we talk about is not just health related. It's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, academically, financially. All of those things is what we talk about when we talk about quality of life, no matter where you are in life. So whether it is us caring for patients in their homes, or me teaching persons to become healthcare workers, practical nurses, home health aides, whether it's just me dealing with family members or guardians of the patients that we take care of, the aim is really to improve our health. And health is not just physical, it's also mental, right? And improving quality of life. When we talk about quality of life, no matter where you are in life, the quality we speak to has nothing to do with just physical health and wholeness, but everything that surrounds it.
Wow. You're putting a lot of consideration into your words, and I really feel touched by how you express yourself, and I must commend you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Jody-Marie, and she's an entrepreneur. She is the business owner of a Gentle Touch Care Home, and we're going to talk some more about that. After I ask her the next final question and so on, she will have in the next 15 to 20 minutes to explain some of the services when the business is established and so on, to go into the final details. Now, Gentle people, I want to tell you this. When you see an entrepreneur come onto the program and tell you, and anybody in particularly, even myself, that they would do what they're doing now for free, even if they're not getting paid, that is known as when you find your purpose. That is when you know that you find a purpose. When I started Earthworld Trade, nobody in my family believed in me. I can say that on camera. And I can say it publicly. Nobody believed into Earthworld Trade when I just started. When I just started and I had the ideas, then I had to write them down, flesh them out, draw up the business plan. How do you go scale the business? Right? And I started out doing things for free. I'm still doing things for free. And I still love doing things for free. So the fact is, and I'm seeing the similarities in persons who are entrepreneurs. They're willing to work for free. Because the fact is, the day that you start to work for a paycheck, that is when you get employed. I think Robert Kiyosaki talked about it in the book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? There's a difference between working and you're working to be compensated. But I just wanted us to touch up this and the point where she bring up a while ago. But here comes the last 13 question for you. And this is the last 13 question. What does it mean, from your perspective, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur?
All right. So I learned what it meant to be an entrepreneur by somebody telling me, right? But then I experienced something that was, as I said to one of my girlfriends, she brought her book here for me to sign it, for her to personally autograph it and give it to me. And we were talking, and I said to her, I think the one word that I can use to describe entrepreneurship is a type of hunger for something more of what is already your innate passion. It's like eating a good cheesecake, but not going to do you nothing but good. You getting what I'm saying?
I'm getting you.
They'll say cheesecake make you fat, right? But in your mind, you cannot eat too much cheesecake, right?
Right.
It's almost like an addiction. Because once you see the vision of something that can happen and you learn how to do that and then replicate it, and you can replicate that over and over and over again. That's why I can understand why some of the billionaires in the world are serial entrepreneurs and they have not stuck to one thing.
Right.
Because once you understand that something can work, all you are thinking is do more. And when you realize how much what you're doing even impact other people's lives, you're like, how can I make this better? How can I add more value to other people's lives? I tell you, the one thing I haven't learned to do though, Alex, is celebrate my wins. I haven't been able to do that very well. And I'm gonna have to learn how to do that. Somebody said to me, do you realize what happened? And I'm like, no, not really, but I'm seeing where this can go.
Right.
And where I can take this.
Right.
So for me, and it's always nonstop wanting to go. So it's just seeing an opportunity and grabbing onto it and saying, all right, let me see how I can take this. Let me see where this can go. And then if it goes for a while and it doesn't work, I said, all right, cool, that didn't work. Maybe there's something else that I need to try. And it's just, I think it's an addiction.
So I get the word hunger and I get the word addiction with utmost confirmation that yes, this is it, hunger. This is the word for hunger.
And it's not hunger for money, but it's hunger for more of what you can do to create change.
But that is so. And I want to point on that, and thank you so much for your answers. And I want to say that for me itself, what it means to be an entrepreneur is to be consistent.
Yeah.
My word is to be consistent. The fact of the matter is, I want to put it out there that starting to be to be more responsible for the decisions that you make and to constantly working at it, even when nobody's cheering you on. That is what it's all about. And then you're gonna find yourself, and I want to give a personal sentence right here. Sometimes when I win, I get a trade and I make 10 cents, I make $20, I make $10, I make $5, I make $2 on a trade, one trade. Small amount of money. But I will post it there and I'll show a story that I gained $2. I win 50 cents. And some person will laugh at me and say, this man does win 50 cents. One look at $2, one look at $20. I say, my God. But he couldn't understand that these were some of my basic trades when I just started out. How could I manage not to share? You win that money. When you win that money, it is something out of this world. And if you can repeat that process, you will know what it is to have money. It's not how much money you have. It's how much money you can keep and maintain and duplicate the money. That is the basis of an entrepreneur. If you want to make more money, learn how to duplicate the money. Yeah. Learn to multiply the money. Right? And I want to thank you so much. I'm hungry for my business right here. I'm hungry for the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I'm hungry for Earthwell Trade Academy. Hungry for Earthwell Trade Limited. Now, I wanted us, before I get into the next segment of the program, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Kevin Alex Ben. Now, we have on the program, CEO, Woman of the Year. Because this lady has been doing so much work. 4 jobs, plus her business. And she look now, this lady is now taking care of our seniors in the society. It's a serious thing. A lot of persons, they're making the money and they left their mother and father at some home. But it's the responsibility of this lady here, gentle touch and care. Now, I want to put it out there that this business is located in Chilani, same road that the police station and the hospital is on. In layman terms, that's it. So once you're in Chilani and you're on that road where the police station is and the hospital is same road, she's located. What number are you located?
Number 13 Rodney Street.
13 gods in one man. There it is, 13 Rodney Street in Chilani. That's where she's located. And I want to put it out there that you're smiling, but it's true. It is true. When you find persons that are same like-minded, persons that are going somewhere in life, somewhere you want to go, you will find persons along the way to take you there where you need to go. So don't worry about persons leaving your life or coming into your life. Just continue your journey and the right set of people will come along. I think Will Smith said that, and I quote. But let's go on. You have 15 to 20 minutes now to run on some more and some points that you mentioned. I know that you mentioned that you want to change the business name. I know that you have a nursing institution, practical nursing institution, training facility. I know you have the home service business that I want you to tell the audience some more about in your 15 to 20 minutes. Also, I want to tell them after you leave UWI, what was that like to make the transition and where you are right now. And I know that right now as well, you are a mother of 2 sons, right? 2 little boys, 2 little princes right there. And you have the time to be giving your service to our fellow men and women. So go ahead, tell us some more about your different organization you have there and so on. Take it away.
All right, so let me just give you the rest of that story with the transition first, how I transitioned. So basically what happened is, as I said, life events happened and I decided to move back to Trelawney, and I decided when I came back, I went into a private hospital, then I went into pharmaceuticals. And when I was at the private hospital is when I had the 4 jobs, right? And I left that, including when I had my first home care patient back in 2012, that is where I recognized that niche, because there were private patients who were coming to the hospital but needed a nurse to be with their relatives at home even after they left the hospital. So I saw that as an opportunity and I jumped on it. And because I was teaching at a practical nursing school now, that created opportunities for my present students now to now work with me in patients' homes. And that's where we started the home care business, which we're going to talk about shortly. But then after that, as I told you, I became a pharmaceutical rep. I got sick. According to the doctors, my MRI looked like that of a person with Alzheimer's for 10 years. My short-term memory was not going to be so great. I was placed on medications. I had to give up my job. I was jobless for 2 years, doing a brain test on medications that, according to my mother, made me look like a zombie. I took that thought of my mother saying I look like a zombie and decided that I'm going to make a change. So I decided literally to come off all the meds. And this might be promotions for something in Jamaica. So whoever I'm promoting for, yeah, you can send some money my way. I decided to start CBD. That did great for me. I also changed the way I ate. And that, I tell you, has been.
And that CBD, and I'm cutting you, but that CBD that you're talking about is made from marijuana, right?
Yes.
CBD, marijuana.
Yeah.
Made from ganja, in other words.
Yes.
Right.
It's a beautiful drug. And I tell you that helps. Changing my mindset was very important because I was a workaholic and I had to admit that and I had to change that. I had to learn how to change my thought process because during my illness it was really bad because I'm getting emotional. Alex, why are you making me getting emotional? And I'm remembering this.
No, this I can kind of program. Yes, people want to know that this. So hold on a second. Take a minute. Drink some water. Have a little bit of water.
I don't have water. I have coffee. I have coffee.
We'll have a little sip of something. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Jody-Marie, one phenomenal young lady that has been doing tremendous work throughout the society here in Jamaica and by extension, the world. And I want to highlight this person. I want you guys out there that are listening. Don't take these things for a joke. Take notes. See what is happening right in front of you. Take notes from this remarkable lady and how she started out. And now, before you start, I want to ask you one question. Let me start. How much employees do you have?
Me alone.
You're alone. How much employees do you have now?
We're just about 10 or 11.
Thank you so much. Continue with what you're saying.
So yeah, in those 2 years it was very hard because I was no longer working. I no longer had an income. I was very ill. I was spending I think close to $11,000 a month for medication alone. And this never included a trip to the neurologist in Kingston every other week or once a month to just get tests and follow-ups and so on. And being at the point where I would wake up, I know what I want. And I go to the fridge, from my room to the fridge, and I forgot why I was at the fridge, what I wanted to take out, why I was even there. I even forgot I was hungry and I wanted something to eat. That's how bad it got. I'd wake up some mornings and not be sure where I was or not be able to stand because the room was spinning.
Wow.
And it took a drastic turn. Like I said, it took my mother saying to me, "You look like the Walking Dead." She said I look like a zombie, and I'm like, why would my own mother say that to me? And she knows I'm sick. But it took just that one thing. She never said it to harm me. She just came one day and she's like, "Oh my God." Yes, that's how my mother is. And she'll tell you that is how my mother is. She'll tell you what it is. You're not going to hide it. Not because you're your child, she's going to tell you, "Oh no, you look all right." No, my mother tells it as it is.
Right.
And so somehow those words sunk in my head, and I went and I stared in the mirror, and to me, I was unrecognizable. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know it was me. And I think one of the things that we did first is I went to a herbal doctor, medical doctor, who did holistic medicine, and he recommended that I started eating according to my blood type. I researched it. I never understood it. I researched it, and I am AB negative. Yeah, which is very rare. I think it's 0.6 of the entire population. And this was the first time I even paid attention to this, even as a nurse. I never paid attention to nothing like this before. And so I looked into it, I researched it, and he was quite on par. So I changed my diet completely. For one whole year, I ate only food that were compatible with my blood type, which means getting rid of a lot of the food that I love.
Right.
And eating healthy, drinking properly. The one of the things they took me off, which was one of my favorite things to have, that I used to have like 5 cups of coffee a day when I was a nurse because I was pulling long shifts, and even as a midwife, I drank a lot of coffee. And the neurologist told me come off the coffee. I don't know, but putting coffee back in my diet as a stimulant works wonders because it literally woke me up. I saw myself literally stop having memory loss as a result of having 2 cups of coffee a day.
This time of night. You're still having coffee, no? At this time of night? I just have to ask the question, you know. I don't want to assume anything.
You know, usually it's 2 cups. I'm down to 2 cups, but it's black coffee, and black coffee, do the research, is very good for you. It reduces the risk of heart attacks and strokes, and reduces type 2 diabetes. But people need to read this now because it is not.
You're down to 2 cups a day.
Yeah, I'm now down to 2 cups of black coffee a day.
Normally, I would have 1 cup of coffee because the fact of the matter is, for the last year, in 2019, I sat in Starbucks the whole year, every day, and drink a cup of coffee every day and work on the book 13 Gods in One Man. So,
did you have black coffee?
Yeah, man, I had black coffee for the whole year. I drink
black coffee is the healthiest way to have coffee. Black coffee is the healthiest way to have coffee. So as I said, coffee became a stimulant, so I never needed those medications anymore. It woke me up. Literally, it woke me up. And I was like,
medication and take the coffee for a substitution.
It woke me up. Like literally, it was a literal wake up. Like after my second cup, the second day, I was like, why didn't I think of this before? Why did I tell doctors, it's gonna cause you to have more seizures? And I'm like, okay, all right. And by this time, I was already having the CB. I was already having tea, the wheat tea, before I go to bed, along with some soursop leaf and thing. I was doing the whole neurological thing and eating the berries. Berries are good for the brain.
So the tea. So you had more coffee more than the tea, correct?
Yes. I had more coffee than the tea, but the tea was every day. It was more consistent. That was
so tell me home service now that you operate.
All right.
And you need the coffee in your system. You get it over. You throw away the medication. We hear that you're over the hump now, and you find your needs to know that you need 2 cups of coffee a day to get you perked up. But I want you to tell me some more about the home service business that you offer. And before you tell me some more about it, I want to point out that mostly in the first world country, like when I went to Japan, I saw this service. When I went to England, I saw this particular service. When I've been in the Bahamas, I saw this particular service, home care business. Now, I see that you are one of those persons in Jamaica that are providing this service of taking your service right at the customer doorstep. Tell me some more about that and why you started that. Tell me some more about that.
All right. So as I told you, I had launched it to some extent back in 2012 while I was at the private hospital, right?
Right.
So when I went into pharmaceutical, I lost that momentum, right? Because it took up a lot of my time. And it meant being a different parish every week, so I could not continue it.
Right.
No, after I started, my memory started coming back and all of these things. As I tell you, I'm a praying person. And I went to God and I asked him, what should I do? Because at this point in time, I have a son to take care of. I'm a single mom and we need to survive. I had no more
savings. What age was your son at that time?
Nathan was 3 at the time. No, 4. 4 at the time.
And what age is he now?
Ethan is now 9. Am I getting the ages correctly? So we're talking about, this is recently, 2015, 2016 were my 2 years of completely no work, trying to recover. We
Right.
literally launched the business January 2017.
Right.
That's when I launched, 2017, January. And I opened the thing is, back in 2016, I got called from a reference from 2014 when I saw one of my last patients during that time. So
Right.
somebody who knows that I had done that for somebody's relative called me to take care of their relative, but I had to
So,
explain to them that I was just recovering from illness myself.
so let me ask you a question now. At this Gentle Touch Care Home, there in Trelawney, number 13 Rodney Street. Now you have patient there right around the clock, right? On residence, on the
All
location.
right, not that location. The
Right.
Rodney Street is just our office. What we have
Right.
at Rodney Street is our school, our practical nursing school, where we train practical nurses um,
Right.
for 12 months, after which they do the Heart NCT Level 2 exam. So we
Right.
are partners, and as a matter of fact, we're in the process of being accredited as a heart location for training practical nurses, right?
Wow.
So
Congratulations. Congratulations. I'll give you a clap on the camera for that one.
thank you very much. I think COVID messed up our audit process because we should have done our audit already. Um,
Right.
because of COVID, a lot of things changed.
Mm-hmm.
We went through the assessment process. We were given an evaluation, and then we were supposed to move on to the audits next. But COVID really changed a lot of stuff, so we are changing with the times.
We have
Uh,
to. We have to.
right. So this would be our third full year of training practical nurses. And we've already, graduated 25, and
Right.
we now have another 26 in training. One finishing this year and one set just starting.
Right. So thank you so much for that information, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking to Jody-Marie, one of these individuals that are doing extraordinary work in the society and building our nation. This is Kevin Alex Bent. I'm your host tonight. This program every week, every Saturday at 8 p.m. we'll bring on entrepreneurs in Jamaica and across the world that are making a difference in their society. This program is uncensored, real deal, cut right into it. You hear from entrepreneurs how they started, where they are now. And I can say, look at this lady right here. She started alone. Now she moved up to 10 staff. Then she moved over into the business of helping the other persons them to learn. Now she have an institution taking place at 13 Rodney Street there in Trelawney, where she got 12 months program teaching nurses how to get the job done. And you know, those same nurse will be contributing to our society and helping out our fellow man in those hospitals and private practices. Now, I want to put it out there. So you have any facility now that persons are there that are in need of your service day by day? Where's that
All right.
located?
So we have that the training school is one arm of our organization, right?
Right?
The next one is the home care, where we go into clients' home and we take care of them in their homes. So we go to our clients. So what we do is we have a simple process, Alex, right? And
Right.
each client must go through this process. We're not an agency, we offer a service.
Right.
So I have practical nurses that work with me. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Now I have literally, and I'm going to boast this one, Alex.
Most
Out
of
of
your work, man. Nothing wrong with
out
that. Yeah.
of the 10 staff that we have now,
Right.
9 of them belong to my institution, were trained by us, and are now in jobs. Literally,
Wow.
right. They are now on locations for us working as practical nurses.
Right.
And that for me is tremendous.
Tremendous. It
Yes,
is.
it
It
is
is.
that we can place some of our very own staff at in locations where they're just not gaining the experience, but also being paid to do that.
So your service is offered island wide here?
All right, no. So
Right.
we now service Trelawney, St. Anne, and St. James,
Right.
right? And that's where we've been servicing for the last 3 years. We have not expanded beyond that yet.
Right.
Hopefully, as we grow, we can expand our services to other areas.
Right.
Uh, I heard you mention Mandeville earlier. You know, we've looked into Mandeville.
Right.
We're trying to make sure that we perfect the concept that we have right now before we duplicate it. And when I say
Right.
perfect it, and I mean, where there is no problem, but
Right.
perfect to the point where we are managing all the logistics properly before we can move on to a different area.
Absolutely so,
So,
because I want to point it out there that most persons that I know that are return residents, persons there who have the money that can pay for these services to offer a nurse and pay for the nurse to be coming to their homes to actually taking care of them, right? This is not cheap, but the case may be you guys out there, you make it very much affordable. So tell
right.
us, what's your contact number and what are some of your costs for your services?
All right, so you can contact us at 876-409-8543, which is our main number. Our
Mhm.
secondary number is 876-789-5558. Those are two numbers. The last one is Lime and the other is Digicel. And you can
Mhm.
also WhatsApp us on both numbers. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook at A Gentle Touch of Care Home Health, both on Instagram and Facebook, and so is our school, right? No, we make our services very affordable, Alex.
Mhm.
No, we provide from well, first of all, as I was saying, as explaining to you our process. So there must be an assessment. As the registered nurse, I go in and I'll assess the patients because a lot of times, or I should say, our clients or residents, because they're patients when they're in the hospitals. When they're out of the hospital, they're no longer patients. All
Right.
right. So what we do is I go in, I do an assessment. An assessment is a thorough assessment, not just of their physical condition, but mental and emotional, and also their living environment. But this is
Right.
very important because if we're sending our staff out, we have to make sure that wherever they're going is safe and they'll be able to give the care that is required for that person, right?
Right.
So we do an assessment, and then based on the assessment, I do an assessment evaluation. And the assessment is not just so we know what's going on, it's also so the client's relatives know what's going on as well. So I remember one time one client called me and said, oh, they need 4 nurses. I'm like, why do you need 4 nurses? I said, I'd
Right.
like to come and do the assessment to see what your needs are and then make recommendations. And this was a home that had a helper, a cook, and somebody who was previously taking care of the person before. When I
Right.
evaluated the situation, I said to them, to pay 4 nurses is not necessary, right? Because I wouldn't want at the end of the day, oh, your services are too expensive, we can't afford you. But
Right.
to have trained, certified, all our nurses are trained nurses, certified nurses who also have CPR certificates, right?
Right.
So they're technical staff. So to have 4 technical staff on one location for one patient does not seem logical to me. When I did the assessment, all we needed was 24-hour care with one nurse on staff at a time based on the need of the client and how many persons were always in the house. It simply
Right.
meant somebody just taking a minute break or a 5-minute break just to assist to do a pull or a turn or assisting with a lift.
Yeah, like, if you see me wiping my eyes like that, it's because I'm getting emotional, So, what I mean? I'm very much impressed by what I'm hearing. I'm telling you, I've never cried before on a program. You're making me feel like I want to. I'm telling you, I'm here, I'm trying to hold it back, but I'm telling you. We're talking to Jody-Marie, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to tell you, this person's been doing tremendous amount of work in the society. This person has been taking care of persons that are unable to take a bath, to use the bathroom properly, right? And to make sure that these persons are taken care of. And the more I listen to this young lady here, the more I could think about my own grandmother and my people in my life that could use a service like this. And she's the one that is offering a service like this. She's servicing the public. She's servicing the person the real way of needs. Because most of these people, they live alone. Most of these people, they're just left at the care homes. Nobody to visit them. The kids are gone about the business, the loved one gone. And these are the responsibilities of persons like Gentle Touch of Care Home that are doing the difference in the society to actually remember these people that they have contributed somewhere down the line in the society and also for the nation building. So I want to commend you right here. I wanted to talk on the program from heart and just tell you that I'm very much impressed. But if you have any questions, I'm checking the program now and see if there's anybody sending any question. Somebody says to me, let me see what they said. Oh, somebody asked me a question, but do you remember the first time wiping somebody mess up? Somebody asked that question.
Sorry, what? Do I remember what?
The first time you wipe somebody mess up, somebody messed themselves up, and you have to take that into consideration. Did you remember the first episode of experiencing that?
No.
I'm telling you, people ask some very some unusual questions and they can them
I mean, I was the eldest of 3 kids. I did that a lot for my brothers and sisters even before I became a nurse.
Right.
And before I became a nurse, I was always somebody who was doing voluntary work. So we always went to children's home as a part of. I've been involved in a lot of things that I just gave service, and going to homes that had children with disabilities was something I used to do in the summertime with a Christian organization that I've been a part of. And so I don't think nursing necessarily was what made me clean somebody else.
Right.
No.
Now, I think I was asking if you remember the first time that you experienced something like that. I think that was what they're trying to say. That it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have about 4 minutes left on the program, and I want to just point it out there, and I want to thank Jody-Marie to come in on the program tonight and to actually share her life story and to share some aspect of how she started out and where she are right now as an individual, as a company, and doing tremendous things. Now, I want to point out things in a sense of why did I start Earthworld Trade Limited? I started Earthworld Trade Limited because the fact is I wanted to invest in other people's dreams and to by right to expand my company as well. That's why I started that venture company right there, Earthworld Trade Limited. And then after I've been a part of the insurance game, went to the College of Insurance, then I went to the stock market, did my certifications there, got the accreditations and so on. And finishing that, I decided that I want to dig some more into knowledge, and I started Earthworld Trade Academy. Was doing it before privately by myself, and I learned how to invest my own money and build my way. Now I create this institution so I can share the knowledge. I've learned so much, and it's no need that I learn these things and the skill set to actually assist somebody else, and I keep the knowledge to myself. That is the reason why I created Earthworld Trade Academy, so I can share my knowledge, because I can't take it to my grave. It don't benefit anybody if I take the knowledge to my grave.
True.
And the reason why I know I create Earthworld Trade Talk Show is because we have fantastic people like Jody-Marie that are heroes in the society that nobody, in the sense that nobody in the wider space may not or may know about her. So the fact is, you have heroes out there every day, and we're not hearing about them. So what I did was create a talk show, let the world know so these persons out there mending the fabrics of society, and you're not hearing about it. And I want to thank you sincerely, and I wish you all the best with a gentle touch of care. And we'll bring you the next time on the program. And congratulations on your batch of students that have been graduated, and also the new set that is there about to take off like a plane. So the program is about to end right now. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Kevin Alex Ben. Tonight's guest speaker being Jody-Marie. and she is here live and direct. Do you have anything to say? 1 minute to go. Wrap up the show. Do you have anything to say?
I want to thank you again, Alex, for bringing me on the show. If you would like to contact us, I gave my contact information earlier, and or we have our website, home healthcare website. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and our numbers again 876-409-8543. We are home healthcare service. We also have an adult care facility, and we have a training institute. So if you want to find out about us, just Google us, a Gentle Touch of Care, Home Health Services, or Training Institute. You will find us. We are on Google. We're well mapped. So just go and check us out.
All right, thank you so much. And I'm Kevin Alex Bent on behalf of Earthwell Trade, group of companies. Our videos will be uploaded to different mediums and all the social media pages, such as Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also the groups there within Telegram and also Facebook groups with Earthwell Trade Legends Academy and so on. So I want to thank you once again for having coming on the program tonight, Jody-Marie. I'm your host, Kevin Alex Ben. Thank you guys for watching so much. Until then, see you next week with our next fantastic, exciting program with entrepreneurs talk show, Earthwell Trade. Have a wonderful evening. Kevin Alex Ben. Bye-bye.